now in this today's objective, we will continue for the third week of development and what happens from the different germ layers and what are the supporting membranes of the embryo. Okay, so our objectives are the third week of development with their relevant anomalies. Let's discuss about the third week of development. Now, as I told you, for the second week of development, it is a week of twos. Means everything is in two layers of trophoblast, two layers of embryo disc, two cavities. When you come to the third week, everything is threes. So you can see that the third week of development forms three main structures. The three main structures are the primitive strix, the notochord, and neural tube. As you can see in this slide, this primitive strix is known as primary organizer of embryo. What does mean by primary organizer of embryo is if primitive strix do not develop, then further development do not happen. That means if primitive strix is absent, further development will not happen and the embryo will be aborted. It will be removed. No development. So that's why primitive strix is known as primary organizer of embryo. As you can see in the picture besides the text, that there is a strix-like form in the caudal part of the embryo, and this is the cells which is forming the primitive strix. If these cells appear and that group of cells forms a strix, then the further development takes place. So that is primitive strix, and its importance is it is primary organizer of embryo. Without that, no further development. The next structure which appears is notochord. Notochord is the one which appears after the primitive strix. So notochord is a next step of development which is responsible for formation of neural tube. If notochord do not form, the neural tube will not form. Actually, neural tube forms a nervous system. So if the notochord do not develop, neural tube will not develop. If neural tube will not develop, nervous system means the brain and spinal cord will not develop. Right? So ultimately, we need three important structures during third week of development. That is the primitive strix, which is a primary organizer. It is required to be first step of development to form further structures. The notochord, which is responsible for formation of neural tube, and neural tube itself, which forms the nervous system. So these are the three structures we develop during third week. We'll discuss in detail in successive slides how these structures changes and what anomalies can occur. Now next is three layers will form. As I am telling you, third week means everything is three. So third week has a three layers of embryonic disc, and that is ectoderm, endoderm, and mesoderm. During second week, there will be two layers, ectoderm and endoderm. Now during third week, what happens is the ectoderm, endoderm, and mesoderm. The third layer, mesoderm, is added during third week of development. And the three cavities will appear during the third week of development. What are these three cavities? Amniotic cavity, yolk sac, and chorionic cavity. During second week, what we discussed? Amniotic cavity and yolk sac was there. Now what happened? One more cavity is appeared. That is what is the chorionic cavity. So you have amniotic cavity, there is yolk sac, and the chorionic cavity. You will see in successive pictures how these cavities look like and where the embryo is hanging within these cavities. So let's discuss about the primitive strix in little detail and its relevant abnormality. So as you can see that in the caudal part of the embryonic disc, which is seen from the top, you can see that in caudal part there is a strix-like arrangement that is known as the primitive strix. And this particular primitive strix is the one from where the cells will migrate to form mesoderm. So primitive strix ultimately is responsible to form mesoderm in the middle and forms the notochord in from the center part going out between the ectoderm and endoderm, and in the central part it goes up, as you can see the arrow going up in the cranial part to form the notochord. So the primitive strix is the one which is responsible for process of gastrulation. Gastrulation means what? Formation of mesoderm. So the process of gastrulation is responsible for formation of mesoderm, and this gastrulation is the primitive streak. So primitive streak ultimately gives rise to this particular mesoderm also. And in the cranial part, which is going up towards the head end of the embryo, this will form the notochord. So primitive streak is one of the very important structure. It fixes the whole structure of the body and axis of the body even. So if the primitive streak is in the center, then you will one single body. But if the primitive streak splits in the upper part, okay, then what will happen? Abnormal development. If primitive streak do not appear, no development. But primitive streak appear, but abnormally split. Let's take this example. Here you can see these twins. When the primitive streak in the upper part splitted, the baby has two heads, single trunk and the limbs. As you can see in the first photo here. So this is the Siamese twins or the conjoined twins. It is because of the abnormal primitive streak. Because primitive streak splitted in the upper part, so that's why two heads are developing and rest of the part is single. But suppose primitive streak splits in the upper part also and lower part also. So what do you find? Is two babies, but they are fused in the middle, because primitive streak is set single in the middle, but upper part and lower part it is splitted. So that's why you find that the baby has two heads and has four limbs down, and that's how this type of abnormalities appear. This is known as conjoined twins, and this is because of the abnormal primitive streak. If the primitive streak continues to remain, it should disappear. Once notochord forms, primitive streak disappears. But suppose primitive streak still continues to stay, then it will tumor, which is known as sacrococcygeal teratoma. This is because of the persistence of the primitive streak. Usually it should be surgically removed and it can be done. Same way conjoined twins, some of the type of conjoined twins can be separated, some cannot be separated. So this is what is importance of knowing primitive streak, which is a primary organizer, and its congenital anomalies. You should remember that these anomalies are very important to know in practice because of the conjoined twins. Mentioned, the primitive streak will give rise to notochord. As you can see in this particular picture, the black color in the particular disc is the notochord. So above is ectoderm, below is the endoderm, and in between in the center, clear, is the black color notochord. So this notochord ultimately develops from primitive streak, and later on primitive streak disappears, notochord remains. Once notochord appears, it will change the ectoderm above the notochord. So whatever is the ectoderm, that is blue color in this particular picture, clear, above the black color notochord, this particular picture, the blue color above the notochord will become neural tube, which we'll see in the next slide. So that particular neural tube will form above the notochord from ectoderm. So this particular part will be known as neuroectoderm. So that part will form the brain and spinal cord. But notochord, what will happen? Once the notochord gives rise to the neural tube above it, thereafter notochord is not required. So here notochord develops and then disappears. In the human body, it remains as just one ligament into the and some of the part of the intervertebral disc in the vertebral column. So we are the vertebrates, not the chordates, human. So that's why human has a vertebral column. Some animals have the notochord as a vertebral column like thing. So we are vertebrates. That's why notochord is not required in us. So notochord appears to give rise to neural tube and then disappears. Is it clear? So you should remember that in stages of development, some structures appear, they do their job, and they leave. Same way here, notochord appears, gives rise to the neural tube, and then notochord disappears. So what happened now? Next step will be the neural tube. Whatever is the part above the notochord in this picture, you can see the dark blue color given. This particular part is the neuroectoderm. Neuroectoderm is nothing but a part of the ectoderm just above the notochord. So this part changes and ultimately starts folding upon itself and forms a tube. This particular tube is known as neural tube. The margin of the particular fold is known as neural crest. So neural crest and tube are two components of neuroectoderm. Neural crest gives rise to the adrenal gland medulla and some of the parts, Schwann cells and different parts into the body, apart from the neural tube giving rise to the complete nervous system. Neural tube is important for us to know at present as it will develop the brain and spinal cord. So we will go into the most important aspect of this is the neural tube. Neural crest cell gives rise to diverse structures in the body and they disperse into the body. Like they come from the brain and goes to the adrenal gland into the abdomen, and that is adrenal medulla. So it is coming from the neural crest cells. But our basic understanding for currently, at least we can focus that the neural tube gives rise to the brain and the spinal cord. Right. So what we discussed, three important structures. The primitive strip, important as primary organizer, and if it doesn't develop properly, it can lead to congenital anomalies like conjoined twins. Then we discussed notochord. It is important as inducer for neurotube formation. If it doesn't appear, the brain will not form, and neural tube itself, which is giving rise to the brain and spinal cord, that is nervous system. So we discussed that there were three important structures. This is the picture which gives rise to, gives you idea about the three cavities, because we are going to discuss the layers in a little separate slides and their derivatives. Let's conclude this part about the cavities. As you can see in this slide, there are three cavities. You can see in the big cavity, which is chorionic cavity. And within this big cavity, you see that there is a floating cavities, which is a small cavity above and a little bigger cavity below. Upper cavity is known as above the embryonic disc. Whatever is above it, we call it amniotic cavity. Whatever is below the embryonic disc is known as yolk sac. So you can see in this particular slide that it is like a two balloons floating into one large balloon. So two balloons floating into the large balloon. Two balloons are one above amniotic cavity, the other one little bit bigger below. It's known as yolk sac, and these two are floating into a very large cavity known as chorionic cavity. And this particular amniotic cavity with a yolk sac and embryonic disc is hanging into the chorionic cavity by a connecting stalk, which is going to form umbilical cord later on. So this is what is about the three cavities appear during third week of development. What are the names of three cavities? Amniotic cavity, yolk sac, and chorionic cavity. Later in the development, what happens is that amniotic cavity starts becoming bigger and bigger. It is the smallest cavity at present in this stage, but later on this becomes bigger and bigger, and then the yolk sac will go into the body of embryo to form digestive system, which we'll discuss when you will come to the College of Medicine in the first semester of the first year. So that is going to form the GIT, that is yolk sac. Amniotic cavity becomes bigger and chorionic cavity disappears. So ultimately, the whole body of the fetus will be floating into the amniotic cavity. At present, amniotic cavity is the smallest of all. But in the last stage of development, finally, amniotic cavity becomes the biggest, yolk sac goes into the body of embryo, and chorionic cavity disappears. Ultimately, it is obliterated. So this is what is about the three cavities. We discussed three structures, we discussed three cavities. Let's understand some of the anomalies of the nervous system, and then we'll go to the layers. As you can see in this particular slide, it is some of the anomalies of nervous system. As I mentioned, that the neural tube will give rise to the nervous system, the brain and spinal cord. What will happen that it is covered by the vertebral column. In some of the developmental errors, the vertebral column is not complete on the back, and that's why the skin is the only covering for the spinal cord. This type of condition is known as spina bifida occulta, because the spine is splitted, and that's why the vertebral column is not formed on the back, and the part of the spinal cord is just covered by the skin. I will show you the next slide, the photo of the patient, how it looks like. So this spina bifida occulta. When the meninges comes out from that gap in the vertebral column, when the meninges comes out, we will call it meningocele. What is meninges? Covering of the spinal cord. So covering of spinal cord comes out, but spinal cord still remains in vertebral column. Then it is known as meningocele. If the spinal cord also comes out along with the meninges, we will call it meningomyelocele. If the spinal cord is directly open on surface, that is the worst type of congenital anomaly, which is known as myelocele. So we have spina bifida occulta to meningocele to meningomyelocele and myelocele. So these are the different congenital anomalies, which is because of the development of a developmental error of the spines of the vertebral column. Let's see the photo of this patient. How it look like? Just to give you idea, I don't expect too much of this congenital anomalies except some basic which I am showing you now. This is what is the you can see this baby has the black color hair in the back, and this is the area where the spinal cord is just covered by the skin. This condition is known as spina bifida occulta. While the this one is the meningocele, and here the myelocele where the surface spinal cord is open. If the complete nervous system will not develop because of absence of the notochord, then absence of the part of the brain and the skull, this condition which you see in the lower part of the slide is anencephaly. So anencephaly is nothing but absence of the brain and the skull. So this part is this baby will not survive, it will be dead, it will be stillborn. So once the baby is born, it will be dead. It is usually detected by the blood sample from the mother, and alpha fetoprotein is the protein which we can assess to find out such type of anomalies. Any anomalies of nervous system can be very well and easily detected by the estimating level of the alpha fetoprotein into the maternal blood. So you take the mother's blood, you test it for the alpha fetoprotein. If the level is high, it suggests that something wrong in the development of nervous system of the baby in the uterus. So this is what is some of the clinical importance which I expect at least as a preparatory student to know, that we need to know what is this development, and if the something go wrong, what can happen. This to give you overview of such type of thing.